couple of weeks ago, Courtney and I set out on a trip to explore 3 Utah national parks. The first stop on our trip was Zion. To start our trip, we took a short flight from Oregon to Salt Lake City, Utah. Then we rented a car and drove about 4.5 hours to Zion. Here's a quick tip. Rent a car that you're comfortable with at higher speeds because the posted speed limit on that highway is 80 miles an hour, so you will be going about 90. 2 hours outside the main area of Zion National Park is Kolob Canyons. We were only there for a couple of hours, but it was definitely worth it. There's a short scenic drive with a few trails along the way. We drove to the end of the scenic road and did a quick 1-mile hike on the Timber Creek Overlook Trail. It was a warm, clear day, and we were both very excited to get out of the car and explore. It was a short trail, but it took a long time for us to reach the end, because we kept stopping every 10 feet to take a photo or just stare off into the distance and say things like, "Whoa," or "Crazy." Kolob Canyons was an excellent introduction to the park and a taste of what would be in store for us the next day. In Zion, you can't actually drive to most parts of the park, but the system of shuttles makes it super convenient to explore anywhere you want. The first hike we decided to do was to Angel's Landing. The trail is 5 miles round trip and ends with an amazing view of the valley below. The trail itself was great. It was nice and wide with some serious switchbacks carved deep into the cliffs. Every few steps there was another epic view. The last part of the trail to Angel's Landing is a 1/4-mile section of steep rocks with a chain to prevent you falling hundreds of feet onto the jagged rocks below. By the time we got to this section, it was super crowded. I planned on going all the way to the top, but there was a huge bottleneck of people moving at a snail's pace. Some people were frozen with fear, gripping onto the chain with dear life. When I moved about 15 feet in 10 minutes, I decided to turn around and head back down. Early in the morning would be the best time of day to do this hike to avoid the crowds. The elevation gain for the Angel's Landing Trail is 1,520 feet. Even if you don't think you're up to doing the last little section of this trail, it's still worth it. The views along the way were absolutely amazing. I have to thank Courtney for helping me with this video footage. It looks like I'm on a solo introspective journey. In fact, we were both hiking together and we had a great time. After taking in the vistas from the Angel's Landing Trail, we wanted to get out of the hot sun and hike along the river. The next trail we decided to check out was the Riverside Walk. It's a short hike along the Virgin River that leads to the entrance to the Narrows. The cool breeze along the river felt amazing, and seeing the massive cliffs from below was a great change of perspective. Because there was no huge elevation change, this trail was a relaxing stroll. Courtney and I were very happy to find some shade after hiking exposed all morning on the hot Angel's Landing Trail. We even saw a rare speckled mountain turkey. Just kidding, I'm not sure exactly what kind of bird this is, but it looks like a turkey. The Riverwalk Trail is only about a mile long. If you're hiking during the dry season, when you reach the end of the trail, you can step right into the shallow river and follow it through a maze of huge cliffs. This is called the Narrows. Since we were there in April, the river was definitely too high. But on a future trip, I would love to do this hike. Since we only really had one full day in Zion, we wanted to make the most of it. The next trail we hit was the Emerald Pools Trail. There's the Upper Pools Trail and the Lower Pools Trail. We hiked the Lower Pools Trail, which is about 1.2 miles one way. There were more amazing views along the whole trail, and there wasn't a big elevation change on this trail either, so it wasn't too strenuous. The Lower Pools Trail led to some shaded mountain pools with water dripping and splashing from high up on the cliffs. On our way back to the trailhead, someone ahead of us spotted a deer at the edge of the woods and pointed it out to me. All the people we ran into in the parks were super friendly. probably because they're all on vacation. Zion was absolutely incredible, but we were only there for one day. I can't wait to go back sometime in the future. I'll leave you guys with one of my favorite views from the park, the Court of the Patriarchs. Slam that subscribe button, and remember, new Hike Slam videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Well, it was a good view until someone had to ruin it.